Students often say to me, am I going to have to do this forever? And the truthful answer is yes, but that's not really the answer, because that leads to a misconception. Yes, you will have to do it forever if you want to maintain your good health, but the point is you won't mind. It will be part of your lifestyle. I don't resent having to practice these days. If I need to practice, I'd practice. And I do it automatically as well. If I go and make a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, I pour the water on the tea bag and I'm just off around the room doing a pause without even thinking. I say, okay, put the milk in, may do another one. And then I go and sit back at my computer or do whatever I'm going to do. So it becomes so much, a bit like for my mother, you know, for her, she practiced 3 times a day. She didn't resent it at all. It's just like, oh, it's that time again. Her helper would say, lunch is ready, Margaret. Are you going to practice? Oh, yes. Because, you know, my mother's helper would know that's what she always did. And she'd spend 10 or 15 minutes, whatever, practicing. And then she'd have her lunch. And it would be the same at tea time. It would be saying, oh, bedtime. Oh, practice. You just do it. You know, like brushing your teeth. I mean, I don't think anybody goes, ooh, can't wait to brush my teeth. But you just do it because you've always done it. Yeah. It's not an issue.
I think that when people ask that question, they've usually got a control pause that's quite low, whereas we're seeing it from the perspective of having a control pause above 35 seconds, which is a completely different situation. Yeah. That job of getting it to 35 seconds
is huge.
It's huge.
Yes, that job entails a lot of suffering. I mean, this is one of the ironies that students have to put up with, is they come to the Buteyko method because they're suffering. And then we ask them to do something that gives another level of suffering. And sometimes that just seems almost unfair, like they've almost been tricked or something. But of course, we never deny that fact. We tell them so they know it's coming. But the point is, it's a different kind of suffering, because the suffering when you are chronically ill, you know, is going nowhere.
Yeah.
The suffering you do, holding your breath, which of course you don't want to do, the control pause has got so low, the part of your brain, the respiratory center, which is controlling that, fights like mad. It doesn't want you to reverse this condition. It doesn't want you to get used to having healthy levels of carbon dioxide again. So it will do everything to go, this is terrible, stop doing this. But I mean, that's the main job of a practitioner, is to encourage, to wangle, to whatever it takes,
to keep, you know,
to keep that person practicing. Because we know from, you know, 30, 40, how many, 50 years of experience, that anyone who keeps practicing gets the result. Vladimir puts it very well. He said, we're asking you to suffer a little now so that you will suffer a lot less later on. And that's how it works. You suffer to do this. And then, of course, you suffer the cleansing. If you are diligent and push your pauses, then the body will start doing what you're asking it to do, which is clean itself. So all that toxicity that's been hidden away in your body fat will suddenly hit your blood. It'll be in your brain. You'll feel all the effects of being poisoned, which is awful, but it will pass. It will either pass in minutes, hours, days, or in my case, even weeks, if it's super strong chemicals like insecticide, which is nerve agent. When that stuff hits your body, there's a reason why your body never dealt with it, because it can't. Certainly if it hasn't got enough carbon dioxide, it can't deal with it. It will do anything to avoid dealing with it. So suddenly now you're dealing with insecticide poisoning. There were times when my cleansing felt like it did when I was first poisoned, hardly surprisingly. Sure. I'm being re-poisoned as it's passing through my liver and out of my body. But the difference this time is, you know, somewhere you know, while you are cleansing, that this is going in the right direction. This is going to resolution. It's not just a suffering that's going to go on forever. It will stop and you will feel better. And your body will remove layer after layer after layer. And at every stage, your control pause goes up and you feel a similar level of improvement in your symptoms.
Yeah.
Your control pause goes up, you feel better. Control pause goes up, you feel better. That's how it works, layer by layer. But every time you go up a step, you have to go through this feeling worse and then better. So it's 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, But the point is, you realize, you learn after a while that it's always forward. Ultimately, it's always upwards. The general trajectory is up and forwards. That in itself is massively inspiring for someone who's dealt with chronic fatigue for years, because the trajectory has always been down.
Yeah.
Backwards. We're asking you to suffer a little now so that you will suffer a lot less later on.